History has been kind to us. And then the truth of the matter is that anytime we are going forward, anytime we have an important match like this, match against PSG to play, we are not always the favorite. For a very, very long time, Chelsea has been an underdog in every competition. In fact, most of the time when we have won our titles, we were like an underdog. You understand? The recent time, that is how it has been. The only time that we were clear favorite from the beginning was the match against Real Betis. Like, not like we're favorite, but in the competition, when you look at the people who plays the competition, we have the highest odds, to win the competition. Apart from this conference league that we have just won, we've never been uh, a major challenger. We always have this fighting spirit. We always have this spirit of this resilient spirit of not giving up. Even when every odd is against us, you understand? All are against us. Now look at our Champions League match against Bayern Munich. Look at how we were doing in the league, and then all of a sudden, our manager was sacked. And if I could remember, it was Andre Villas-Boas. He was sacked and they replaced by his interim. An interim Robert Di Matteo wasn't signed. It was just like, oh yeah, finish the season. The intention that season was not to go and carry the Champions League. But all of a sudden, we have this run of games that was nice. And then I think along the way, we picked FA Cup or thereabout. And then we find ourselves in that position. Now, we did not just win the Champions League. The Champions League final was stated to be played in Allianz Arena. That is Bayern Munich pitch. Imagine playing in a final where your opponents are the major hosts. It is their pitch. You understand? This is like a handicap match. Like you have already lost even before the match kickstart. You have already lost. That was the situation. Now, why am I relating it with this match? Because now in this Club World Cup, we are not also the favorites. Now it's Chelsea fan against every other fan base out there. Because now when you look at the way PSG plays, it looks scary. But if there's one thing that I've never and I will never take away from this football club is our ability to deliver when everyone doubted us. Our ability to deliver when everyone doubted us. Now, if I'm going deep into the match between the preview the match between PSG and Chelsea, I understand something about how PSG plays. They used to play very well in the first half. They play of course well in second half also, but when you look at the intensity, when you look at the coordination, you understand, and the hunger of the PSG players, it always shows more in the first half. Now, if you look at the match that they have been playing in the Club World Cup, you will see that, okay, the win against Inter Miami, 3-0 was won. It was scored in the first half, and they only scored one goal in the second half. And the second half goal was a let-up. Good. Don't let me go too far, because they lost the match against Botafogo? Yes, they lost the match against Botafogo. Let me talk about the match against Bayern Munich. That Bayern Munich match, they did not score in the first half because Bayern Munich took the game to them. Now, in the second half, they were able to score. But the second goal that they scored, I count it as desperation to go and win to go and have a goal from Bayern Munich, because it's a cup, of course, it's not a league. So they were already losing. So that kind of break in play, that counter can happen. And of course, I'm not expecting Bayern to open up like that, if not because of the time that was running against them, and they are down. A draw will have probably made the match to go extra time and possibly penalty. Now, keep that one aside. Look at their match against Real Madrid. Before I talk about Chelsea, let me analyze PSG. Look at the match against Real Madrid, the PSG match against Real Madrid. If you are very sincere, you will understand. Just kindly watch my last video. I'll post the link on the video also. Watch my last video and see my analysis. Nothing that happened in that match translates to the real, to like a competitive game. Let me use that word. If you look at the way Madrid plays, they are show up in that match, we understand that it is easy for any team apart from PSG in Europe to easily beat them. Because why? They were so dreadful of PSG. They were so scared and they were cooked. And then when you look at the way they played, it was the first goal was they of course walked to the point where that error occurred. Why Asensio give the ball away? That Courtois dived and then he did not get the foul. Even fouled. Was it Dembele he fouled? Yes, it was Dembele. That if that ball had not gone in from Fabian Ruiz, the referee would have called for a penalty to be played. Now, why I'm pointing to that particular one was because there was an error that the defender is supposed to clear the ball. Now, the second goal was the ball that Rudiger lost. Rudiger was supposed to have a pass to the goalkeeper and he made a mistake. His second foot, the left foot touched the ball before his right foot touched the ball. So the ball drifted away from him just a little bit, and then of course we have Dembele close to him, so he outmuscled him and straight to the net. This is keeper, this is the ball, and then this is net. Now the goal that I feel like was a team goal, like they walked towards that goal and they got it, was the third goal. That's the goal that I'm giving them. Now, when you look at the match they played against PSG and Real Madrid, I understand that Chelsea will not do that kind of. I want to position Chelsea in such a way that kind of mistake can never happen. That kind of mistake can never happen. And then now, still talking about that match against Real Madrid, you will understand that in the second half, PSG relaxed. They pulled back. PSG pulled back. And then Madrid got the ball. But Madrid was absolutely clueless. Now, this is the Madrid that we know that, imagine that they lose their first match. In every game, anytime they lose their first half of the match, they used to turn up at the second half. They will take the match to you. You understand? They will take the match to you and then they will hit you very hard. Now, Madrid gets the ball. They don't even know what to do with the ball. They got the ball. They couldn't know, even 2 plus 2 pass could not go. That match was the first match that I saw Valverde, the Madrid captain, looks helpless. He gives a pass. Before the pass gets to the player he gives the pass to, it has been intercepted. In fact, he won't even put his hand on his head. So now, they have an abysmal performance. Now, it is easy for people to now say, okay, because of the kind of way that PSG won, of course, people are now looking at the scoreline and they are looking at the way PSG pick their passes and everything. Of course, you can't take away the fact that this team has been the most outstanding team in Europe. You cannot take that away. But the truth of the matter is that Chelsea will be the only team within the mix to want to stop them from carrying every possible titles or every competitions they have found themselves this season. That is PSG. Now, if they play you, and they did not score, they tend to calm down. So I'm looking at Chelsea as a team that can absorb that pressure. Madrid were the team that will have slated to be able to have that kind of attribute. But in yesterday's match, nothing like that happened. This Madrid can easily be beaten by any top team in Premier League. Any top team in Premier League, this current, and I said in my last video, if you watch that last video, I said everything that Xabi Alonso has been training, has been teaching them, guiding them to do. You see, that match against PSG has undone most of those things. So they have to go back to their drawing board. Now, Chelsea. The truth of the matter is that Chelsea have been good. They have been quite decent. And I was talking to someone, I said, when I look at the way Chelsea currently plays, because of this competition, they have taken their game, the limit, another step higher. Now we know that they often put these passes together. They are resilient, and they in fact, look at how we qualify for the Champions League. You understand, it was decent and everything. But the way, the intensity of the ball that Chelsea are playing currently, it is not to be compared with what they have been playing before. If you understand what I'm saying, when you look at the way they hold the ball, when you look at the way they attack, and then when you look at the way when Chelsea loses the ball, the way they mark, The intensity of that marking. The only time I've seen that kind of marking was the match in the Premier League against Brentford. The first half of the season, that match against Brentford was where I saw that intensity, extreme like that. Look at our match against Palmeiras. Look at the way we played them. They were scared to even come, to our own side of the pitch. Now, this was a team that people were saying, these people, they are going to do. Now, look at Flamengo. Well coordinated. You understand? They had their chances, of course, but now, not like we just won. We won that match very well, very considerably. Now, I began to look at our matches and everything. So I look at us, I look at this PSG team. My honest opinion is that first half, if Chelsea are able to hold down this PSG team in the first half and they were not able to concede a goal, or let's even say worst case scenario, that this Chelsea team concede 1-0 in the first half, there's hope for us. See, forget all the things that all these rival people are saying. Forget all the things that these rival people are saying. They are just there to expect an humiliation. That is their expectation, because now when you look at the way PSG has been demolishing team, there is no team in Europe currently that has come their way that have not been heavily punished. In fact, in Premier League alone, they won 4 teams in Premier. They won Aston Villa, they won Liverpool, they won Arsenal, they won Manchester City in Premier League alone. So Chelsea is the only team that is standing in their way. And now we are not standing in their way alone. Every other fan base, every other club there, out there, they want us to lose this match. And they're not like they are just expecting that we'll lose the match in a decent way. They are expecting an humiliation because it is Chelsea. Because this Chelsea is a team that they don't always hope to do well. But they always see us go. They always say, do you know how many people talked about the fact that we are going and nobody has been able to stop us so far? For every matches that we have been winning so far in this Club World Cup, there has been huge expectation for us to fail even before we get to this position. And it's shocking to see that we have gone very far to the point that even the teams that were slated to be contenders have not been where they have been nowhere to be found. This is a position where Chelsea do well. This is a position where we thrive hard and then we conquer the world. Chelsea is the only team to have done everything. In fact, with all due respect, if not because of the form that PSG are in, we are not their mates. We are not PSG's mate at all. At all. This is a team that just won their first Champions League in their history. This is a Chelsea team that have won all. There is no competition Chelsea. In fact, as a matter of fact, Chelsea is the only club that has won a competition that no other team in the world has won, including Madrid. I'm talking of the Conference League. Yeah, it's low, of course. The big teams don't want to come and play there. But see, in this life, you have to have an advantage. Because normally, if you look at the way we even find ourselves in that Conference League, you will understand that Chelsea were not supposed to be playing the Conference League. What we qualified for was the Europa League. But because Man City that we expected, we've already concluded in our mind that Man City will be winning the match against Manchester United. That's what gave us. That's what brought us to the Europa, the Conference League, and then we won it. I'm not scared of PSG. I am not scared of PSG. Are they good? Is it going to be highly competitive? Yes. Is it sure that we are going to be winning? Probably. Is it sure that we are going to be losing? I'm not sure. But what I'm saying is, don't be scared. This is the time to support the badge. This is the time that you really know the true fans. But the truth of the matter is that if you have been a very true fan of Chelsea, you have seen firsthand that we have never entered a competition as a major strong man in that competition. We always, at the end of the day, prove doubters wrong. This match might be the match we do it. This match might be the match we do it. Against the team that has been heavily feared in Europe. PSG has been heavily feared. But I see this Chelsea team, with the quality in the team, with the hunger in the team, I see us at the end of the day doing well. At the end of the day, I see us doing well. Now, who do I think will be starting that match? before I go to the prediction of how I think the match will go. Now, if I will not be mistaken, the strongest men should be starting. I see Sanchez starting. I pick Sanchez as my, of course, there's no other goalkeeper. I pick Sanchez. See, this is a point where you just leave Reece James, because now man for man is going up with a very strong player. That is Kipcha Kvaratskhelia, the Georgian. Man for man, he is going to have a very serious game against James. Please just leave James there. Man for man, leave James there. Now, I'm not sure if Cole will be able to start, but I will be starting Cole. I think his match suspension was just one. I'll be starting Cole. Tosin beside him. I'll be putting Tosin beside him ahead of what's the name? Trevor Chalobah. But if Chalobah starts, I'm fine with it. But that is my lineup. Tosin start ahead of Chalobah. Now, the man himself, Cucurella, will be having another decent game against Dembele. I don't know who's going to start. I don't know. But I feel like Dembele or Doe should be facing Cucurella. Now, this is a player that we have been well impressed of his performance within this season. In fact, apart from this competition, he's a man that even when Chelsea are not performing, he carried the team on his head. Now, he's going to show us his quality. The things we have even yet to know about him, we are going to see him in this final show. Marco Cucurella. I leave him there. Now, my prayer now is with Caicedo because of the injury he picked up in the last match, because he was binded with ice. I think right foot was binded with ice, and I heard Enzo Maresca saying that he pleads with him that whatsoever he does, he should just show up in the final. So I'm going to leave Caicedo there because we understand what will happen if Caicedo don't play that match. Because there's a problem with PSG's midfield. The person who owed the Ajax in that midfield is Vitinha. Without Vitinha, Fabian Ruiz is just a normal player. But with Vitinha, he becomes extraordinary. Vitinha plays within all the pockets. If you need a ball to be broken out from the defense, Vitinha is there. If you need him to be broken out in the midfield, Vitinha is there. If you need to combine with a player in attacking position to create a chance, Vitinha is there. And then you cannot mark this kind of player because they are not in the same position every time. He's always moving. He's arguably the best midfielder of the season in all European football or teams. Vitinha is my own midfield. Apart from Pedro, I go for Vitinha. In fact, if not for, I go for Vitinha ahead of Pedro. Now, how do we mark that player? If we are able to take care of Vitinha, then we have a very serious, chance of winning the match. But Vitinha, that is the reason why Caicedo must play. Because Vitinha has been outstanding. And then come to think of it, this is a player that plays with Wolves. In Premier League under Nuno Espirito Santo, he played with Wolves, and then his star was not shining like this. But many players need to just have an advantage and then put in a position where they have other classic players for their own, talents to show for more. Look at Joao Pedro that we are talking about today. In Pedro's last 10 matches, he has never scored a goal outside of the penalty box. So you can look at what he did in the match against Flamengo. You understand? Is it Flamengo? Fluminense. I've been saying Flamengo. Sorry, please. It's been Fluminense. If I made up an error mistake in the past, please. It's Fluminense I've been talking about, please. That's the Thiago Silva's team. Look at the screamer he scored against his childhood club. Now, please, let Caicedo play so that at least we'll have a little problem for Vitinha. Now, of course, partner with him, I go with Enzo. You understand? Now, Nkunku, he has been using Nkunku now, and then one way or the other, I don't see a way he's going to be benching Nkunku. I'm not seeing a way he's going to be benching Nkunku. Nkunku is going to be starting. He has been quite decent. That's the truth. If you are going to be honest with ourselves, he has been quite decent. Of course, he has not been scoring, but nobody believed that Nkunku will still be showing up the way he's showing up now. So now, with all due respect to his performance, I will still put him at the starting lineup, the left wing forward. But of course, Neto played there the last match. Neto plays there last match. So I feel like I will still put him there, or at all I can put Neto there. You understand? Either him or Neto. And then meanwhile, I go with for the right side, I go for Neto. Like Nkunku will play the left, I go with Neto on the right. Then Palmer played the number 10 role. Palmer plays the number 10 role. For me, there's no any doubt there. He plays the number 10 role. And our man, Joao Pedro, plays the 9. If we can play very well in the first half, this is of course my starting lineup. Let me know what you think. If you think you rather have it in a different way, if you think there's a player that you believe should be starting ahead of a player, let me know. But this is my own. How do I see this match going? It's going to be a tough one, but it's not going to be tougher than what we had against Bayern Munich. No, not going to be tougher than what we have against Bayern Munich. In fact, it's not going to be tougher than what we have against Manchester City in our second Champions League match. See, this fear of we will lose, this is where we show up. And as a true Chelsea fan, if you understand what I'm saying, you will understand that we have a chance. Now, first half, no matter what we do, we should not concede. Now, worst case scenario, even if at all we concede, let's not concede more than 1 goal. But of course, the best case scenario is don't concede. In fact, it will be surprising it will not be surprising rather if we can go 1-0 up in the first half. But let's imagine that this is the worst case scenario. Let's go 0-0 or 1-0 against Chelsea. And in the second half, if we are able to either draw the match or lose by 1 goal, I see that PSG will relax. Because I am not seeing that they will be running riot against our midfield. I'm not seeing that they will be running riot against our midfield. I'm not seeing it. The thing is, we allow them to play ball in their own half. But when it comes to breaking us down, they are going to have serious difficulty in breaking us down. And at the end of the day, if we are able to play 0-0 in the first half, in the second half, we'll take our chance. We'll take our chance. You understand? I feel like we are going to be playing a serious match, and then we have players who will turn up. Most of our players will turn up. I will not be surprised if I see him playing Gusto, but I don't want to see Gusto. Please, leave James. Enzo Maresca has been good so far. Apart from the previous match, he has been gambling with players. But when the game gets serious, he uses best players. So, if we are able to play 0-0 in the first half, I see Chelsea winning the match. I see Chelsea winning the match. Because the more they want to attack us, they leave a gap behind. The gap was there in the match against Real Madrid, but they were unable to exploit it. But I know that we are having players to make them suffer, to make them pay for the overconfidence that they have in that match against Madrid. We have a player to punish them. I am going to be looking out for Palmer. I'm going to be looking out for Joao Pedro to be outstanding, James to become solid, Cucurella to become relentless like he has been always, and our Caicedo to show forth that he's the best defensive midfielder in the world. That is what I'm expecting in the match. And at the end of the day, I want to predict that match to be either 2-1 or 3-2. It's going to be a show of goals. Mark this. That's what I'm seeing. It's going to be like gallows of goals. And then my gut is telling me that Chelsea will win the match. That's what my gut is telling me. By how many goals? It's either 2-1 or 3-2. I see us from the beginning become solid, because one thing that this Chelsea team does is at times they get panicked. But if we don't panic, like we have been playing in recent matches now, because we have good run of games to have that form, if it's that way, I see us coming out on top. I see us coming out on top. This is a team that the whole world are against currently, Chelsea. And then we often do well. That is what's happening. And then that is what I expect in this match. Please let me know what you think concerning this match. What do you think will be the scoreline? Who would you rather start? And then what is your own prediction of the match? That is where we'll end the preview. And then these are my expectations. Kindly like, subscribe, and switch on your notification bell. I wish every Chelsea fan out there a very good luck. please watch my previous video. I'll also be dropping the link concerning the match against Madrid. If you watch that match, that my previous video concerning the post-match preview of post-match analysis of the match between PSG and Real Madrid, maybe you will understand what this video is all about, this preview of this PSG Chelsea, why I'm talking this way. So I'm going to drop the link so you can watch it. Do have a very good time.